Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. For anybody that's new, thank you very much for checking us out. My name is Chris and this is the Christopher Scott channel. We like to keep fish and reptiles, birds, all different kinds of animals over here on the channel, and we are truly grateful that you decided to check us out. For anybody else returning, thank you very much and welcome back. Today's video is going to be very different than fish keeping. We are not going to be talking about fish keeping today. In fact, what we are going to be doing is building a brooder box. And what is a brooder box, you ask? A brooder box just simply mimics a broody hen, and a broody hen is a hen that has decided to sit on and incubate a clutch of eggs. Now, the brooder box is going to provide warmth and safety for a chick, and you can put food and water in there and such. It just doesn't give that, you know, gentle kind of education that a mother hen would give their chicks, but that's okay. They learn to eat and drink on their own pretty quickly. So that's what we're going to be focused on today, is a DIY brooder box for some newborn chicks that you will get to see in the next video. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you turn on that notification bell, because you are not going to want to miss this. So let's get into this video today. All right, well, we are here at a Tractor Supply, and the first thing we need to do is to get some starter feed. And we're not going to talk about what that starter feed is, but it is right here. And then we also need a watering dish. So what we're gonna go with is one of these small ones right here, because we don't want it to be any bigger than that. And this is the base for the water with the jug of water. All right, guys, well, we have picked up a water dish as well as food for what is coming to the fish room. Now, what we need to do is go ahead and head to Lowe's, because I need to get some hardware cloth and I need to get a light system for warmth. And we'll talk about that a little more later on, but we're gonna go ahead and head over to Lowe's and pick this stuff up. So we'll pick you back up over there. All right, guys, well, we are here at Lowe's and we got to pick up a couple of things. First thing we need, hardware cloth, and that is to protect what we have coming. All right, what we're gonna need is one of these clamp lights. So now we just need to find a 65-watt bulb to go into this light fixture. And the problem is at Lowe's, they don't sell anything but LED lights. And well, LED lights just don't get warm enough. So we're gonna have to head to Walmart, I believe. So what we're gonna be using for our brooder box is going to be this Sterilite plastic tub from Walmart. This particular one is 90 quarts. And what we need to start is cutting an opening in the top of this container. And what I'm gonna be using to do that is a plunge saw. The plunge saw works perfect for cutting through this. In fact, if you saw my DIY hamster bin enclosure setup that I built some time ago, you can see right here on the screen, we are essentially doing the exact same thing we did in that video as far as cutting and placing some hardware cloth on here. We're gonna go ahead and start this by cutting out around this edge right here with our plunge saw. So let's go ahead and get this thing cut out. And as you can see, the plunge saw makes very quick work of this thing. Now we're gonna go ahead and trim this thing up. We have this thing completely cut out, and now what we need to do is come back in with a drill and start drilling holes around this edge. We don't have to have a whole lot of holes, maybe 10 on this side and 5 on this side, all the way around. All right, now that we have our holes drilled, what we want to do is measure out a piece of hardware cloth that will fit on this. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Now that we have our hardware cloth kind of sized out to where we need it to be, I always turn it over and start to kind of flatten it out, just simply because, well, it being rolled kind of makes it hard to work with, kind of like this. So now what we want to do, go ahead and lay our mesh over top, get a measurement of where we need to cut, and start cutting. All right, now that we got it all zip tied down and it's secure, we're just gonna come back in and clip all these off. What I'm doing here is just clipping off the edge to make sure nobody catches their leg on it or something like that. Because hardware cloth is extremely sharp on the edges after you've cut it. And there we go. All right, now that we have the top completed, we wanted to come in here to the fish room and finish out the rest of this. So this is a drawer liner that you buy to line like your kitchen drawers with, and this stuff is a soft material, and from what I've read, this makes a great base layer for inside of your brooder box. And you want to use this stuff for about a week as you allow these chicks to build up the muscles needed in their legs and feet, because you don't want them sliding around on the plastic bottom. So we are going to use this is the base level. About a week after they go into this brooder box, we will be able to replace this with some aspen shavings. So you just want to cut this down to size, just for it to fit right here in the bottom of the container. Now the next step to this, we want to go ahead and add a heat source. We're going to be using a brooder light, and you can buy these at Home Depot, Lowe's. It was about $8 for this unit, and then you got to buy an actual light bulb for it. Now what I bought is a red heat lamp, and this heat lamp is low voltage. It's only like 60 watts. So what we need to figure out is, first, is it going to put off enough heat for these little chicks? What we need to do to figure that out, we need to go ahead and set up a thermometer in here. So what I have is a Wi-Fi based thermometer. It also measures relative humidity. So I use these actually in my snake enclosures, as well as this is what has been in the incubator where these eggs have been for some time now. It's pretty accurate. It's pretty easy to set up, and it'll give us a good reading, and I can read it remotely. So we got this set up. I can now see it in my app. We're gonna go ahead and drop this thing in here, just right here in the middle, and we want to just plug this light in and see if it gets up to temperature. If it does not, what we will do is we'll come back and we will either lower it or we will get a stronger bulb, depending on what we need to do. All right, we're gonna let that sit there and warm up, and we'll check back on it in just a little bit. All right guys, well, our brooder box is ready to go, with the exception of some food and water, and we'll get into that when we actually have chicks to put in here. But overall, for a brooder box, this thing is done. It literally is just a box that keeps them safe. You want this to be a draft-free box, meaning you don't want any draft coming in, any wind or anything like that. This light system right here is putting off enough heat. I can see in there on the visual display that it is currently 97.5 degrees. It only needs to go up another ½ degree and we're gonna be good. But we're gonna let this run for about 4 hours just to make sure that we are correct on the amount of heat. So now moving into the next set here, what we need to do is go ahead and set up a water dish for these particular chicks. For our watering system, we're going to use a standard watering dish. This is actually made for a specific type of bird. It has a very shallow tray around it, as you can see, but that tray is still deep enough for something to fall in and drown. So what we're gonna do is take some of this pea gravel and we're gonna fill this in, and what will happen is that will allow water to come out, fill up over the rock, and allow this particular bird to drink from it without having to worry about them actually falling in and drowning. So once we put water in here, this is gravity fed, so it'll actually fill up over the top of the rock and they will be able to drink from that. So that's actually gonna sit right in here. We'll go ahead and put that in. So with that, this brooder box is done. All right guys, so this DIY brooder box is a very simple thing to put together. I've given you all kinds of hints on what these birds may be. I'm just wondering, can you blow the comments up and let me know? Just so you know, they are currently in the incubator and they have hatched. We have another one. Oh my gosh, we now have two. And that one right there is moving. That means that that one's about to hatch. Look at that. Which means that the next video will be us putting these babies into the brooder box. They have to stay in the incubator after hatching for 6 to 12 hours. And then at that point, they can go into the brooder box. So make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you do not miss when this video comes out. Make sure you go ahead and comment below and let me know what you think is going into this brooder box. And if you have not followed us on Instagram or you have not followed us on Facebook, make sure you do that, because I've already posted pictures of the babies on Instagram. Make sure you go follow us. So with all that, guys, thank you very much. We are truly grateful for each and every one of you. And with that, we will see you next time.